All right, we have a Kings of War battle report today. I'm bringing, as always, my Kingdoms of Men versus my opponent's Order of the Green Lady. This is a Universal Battles battle report. So, 2,300 points, which is kind of the standard these days. Dominate scenario. I'm helping him. He wanted to play Dominate. He is preparing for a tournament. So Dominate's the first scenario. So he wants to try his list out. He is playing I think more of a fun list, but it's really more of a list that he kind of has the models well painted for. So he likes this list a lot, but it's not like an uber competitive list. So just to keep that in mind. All right, so for me, I think I've covered this many times. I pretty much am settled down into this version of the battle of my list for now. Spears with pikes and a dragon shard shield, foot guard with hammer, 2 regiments of militia mob, fanatics with the blood, horde of knights with Jesse's boots, beast cav with thundersworn and vicious with indomitable will, 2 giants with the cleaver, standard bearer with loot, 3 mounted heroes, and the captain unmounted. So 14 unit strength, 14 drops, 25 unit strength. For my opponent, a very lean list, 3 units of heart piercers. He's got an Order of the Brotherhood. So this is a cav horde. He's got Sacred Water, Banner of the Green Lady, and so this is the kicker. He's running Crystal Pendant of Retribution. So this is a Masters player, and I saw his list when I was doing Masters review, and I loved this idea of putting Crystal Pendant on knights. It's inspiring me so much that I'm gonna try to fit Crystal Pendant on my knights in my current list, and I'm gonna see if I can make it work. So don't be surprised if you see Crystal Pendant showing up on my knights. So it's really nice to be able to play this list that I admired so much in Masters. Order of the Forsaken with Jesse's boots and water. He's got a greater water elemental, Beast of Nature that he's kitted up, Avatar of the Green Lady, 3 unicorns, all with lightning bolt. He's got a piercing arrow, and he's got a loot on the other one, so a little more utility on that 3rd unicorn. So 3 unicorns are great. Champion of the Green Lady, haven't seen as much, but he's pretty strong too. So the rally 1, I think, is pretty nice on him. Especially, he's only 12 drops and 15 unit strength. So I think it's good that he is playing Dominate because, I think he does need some practice with this list on this particular scenario. So let's just go to the setup. So in the setup here, as we start setting up, we're going back and forth. I put my knights towards the left, and he ended up just matching my knights, his knights to my knights. So that's how it started out pre-captain. When I got my captain, I got 2 units, so I switched my knights over to the forest to try and hit that right flank where I'm going to be hitting all those naiads. And then I actually just moved my pikes up against his knight horde. Those are going to match up really well. So setup ended up being me, and I got the first turn. So we'll go into that. So top of first turn. All right, so from here, I just basically shove forward as fast as possible. One thing I do is I do just really aggressively push all my heroes up. I wanted to stop any sort of double charges while also staying outside of 14 inches away from that water elemental for my knights. But those knights are basically poised to hit those naiads. Just to be noted, I did pop the boots on the knights, so they don't have Strider if I charge, but with a 13, 15, and Def 3 on those naiads, I feel pretty comfortable that those knights don't need the boots. So I just used the boots for the Pathfinder. So on his bottom of 1, so kind of seeing what he was at, I'm just going to show what he did post. So you may not see it, but basically he used it's a pretty cheeky move. He used his Champion of the Green Lady to position his Order of the Forsaken to hit both of my heroes, and then from there he was able to get a corner shot on my giant and do 13 wounds on my giant. So it's actually a pretty cheeky move that I really should watch out for that. He's a good player. I don't think probably a non-Masters level player would have thought of that. So, and I need to watch that. I need to start spreading my heroes out because it's a good play. So he was able to take out 2 heroes and do 13 wounds on my on my giant with those Order of the Forsaken. Put his water elemental into the side of my other hero. He kind of whiffed there, and then he shot. So his big cavalry unit just charged and basically blew up that fanatic unit. That militia mob unit. He did some shooting, put 9 wounds on one of my giants and 5 wounds on the cav. His shooting is pretty good. It's a pretty fair amount of shooting that he's got going. So between the lightning bolts and the heart piercers. All right, so top of turn 2. So again, I did take a lot of damage. I'm just going to remove these units. And so, he does have this knight unit that has that crystal pendant, but I've got my fanatic unit that's got their blood. And so I send the fanatics in. I send the hero and the knights into one of his naiads. Right now, I'm just interested in clearing up his unit strength. Right, he doesn't have a lot of unit strength in this army, and so my goal is to just hit him. I go ahead and countercharge. So he did send his beast into my pikes. I don't know about that move. I don't love that move. I think he felt pressured to. I think he really was. I don't know. I think that move maybe not have been good, but I did countercharge my Beast of Nature, the Beast of Nature with my pikes, and I had that militia mob coming up. And then I just double charged the giant in the back and the beast cav into his Order of the Forsaken, and I put my other giant that got hit. He was able to just basically hit that water elemental. So just going forward, we'll see. So I did get a Bane Chant on the Fanatics, and here's the deal. Those Fanatics with Bane Chant, and I popped the blood, they did end up doing 21 wounds. I took 11 wounds just from the blood. You don't see it here because I actually had to look it up later. I was like, what does this do exactly? It's been a while. It's 2d6 pierce 3 on the crystal pendant. So I rolled a 7 and then 6 wounds. So the Fanatics end up taking 17 wounds. It's just this. It's honestly one of these brilliant moments where, like, you've got basically Fanatics that have, like, explosives strapped to them, and you've got knights with explosives strapped to them just hitting each other, and it's just blowing up. Basically, in one turn, he took 21 wounds, and I took 17 wounds. That's like 38 wounds in one turn. It's just like this absolute just explosions and just death everywhere. So you don't see it here, but those Fanatics, after I got the crystal pendant, got 17 wounds on them. So they're pretty much dead. Going forward, my knights, they hit those naiads, even with the hindered. They did 12 wounds and killed them. My hero sidestepped, and my knights just turned forward to go after the other naiads. My giant did 7 wounds into his water ellie. And then I actually did 7 wounds on his Beast of Nature. I rolled in 8 for nerve, so it's a good nerve roll, and I wavered that Beast of Nature, so that is a pretty good roll. And then 15 wounds between the giant and the beast cav, 15 wounds into the Order of Forsaken, so I killed them too. After I killed the Order of Forsaken, the giant surges forward, and the beast cav, they sidestep. So a good, a pretty brutal first couple of turns, but bottom of 2. So he is behind at this point. He was not expecting to have his knights get one-shotted by my Fanatics. I always post this, and I seem to get other feedback that the blood isn't good on the Fanatics, and I'm just really going to encourage my other Kingdoms of Men players that you really should be putting blood on your Fanatics. It is such a great item, and I just have to tell you, you really should be doing it. He's in a rough spot. His knights are gone. On his turn, this is just post his turn. He did. He shot, put another 9 wounds into my giant and took him out. His champion of the Green Lady charged my other giant with 16 wounds, and so put a few more wounds onto him, killed him, and overran. His water elemental was able to basically get into my knights and did 7 wounds on them. And then he put a few more wounds into my Fanatics, taking them to 21 and killing them. His Beast of Nature just backed off. He does have some shooting in the army, but one thing my army does have is just a lot of wounds. He also flies his Order of the Green Lady right right around the center of the objective. She's got that, or she's that balance is really nice on her. So he's just maximizing his aura of death. He also shot and put a couple more wounds on my beast cav. So, but I've got a lot more wounds left, so that I'm not doing bad on that. So top of 3. So this is just where I'm at. I'm just going to clear out my dead units. So going here in the movement, yeah, I take the flank charge on my beast cav into the water ellie. I put one of my heroes into his naiads just to stop some shooting, and yeah, we go back into the beast of nature. The foot guard just stay behind the hill. They turn with putting their arcs in range of the Green Lady and the champion. So yeah, I mean, just I bane chant the pikes, get 18 wounds and kill the beast of nature, and I just pivot towards the center now. I also 33 wounds on the water elemental, and then I just sidestep the knights, and I just turn the beast cap to face. And yeah, bottom up 3. So yeah, like I said, this game is going pretty fast here, but you know he continues to see what he can do. So on his turn, he put 11 wounds into my beast cav, so he can put a lot of wounds. He takes them out through shooting. His champion charges the side of my knights, doing another few wounds on them. But you know they're 21, 23 def 5, so they're doing really really good. And he does countercharge into my hero. So my hero did do 1 wound on those naiads, so he does 3 wounds, but the hero sticks. And the top of 4. So for me, I'll just clear out my beast cav here, and again, just more of the obvious moves. I put my foot guard and the champ and the captain into his champion of the Green Lady. I just move my pikes and my militia mob 10 inches toward the center. Just charge my knights into his naiads. They're hindered again, but it doesn't matter for me. And then I put my hero into the side of those naiads, so just basically shutting down all his shooting as much as possible. He does have that Green Lady where he continues to just use that aura of death to just stack on wounds. But I'm just ignoring the Green Lady. Green Lady doesn't matter to me. I'm interested in clearing out his unit strength. So yeah, I actually roll pretty good on the foot guard and the hero, so I was able to kill the champion. And I also put 15 wounds on my naiads. Turned, I put my hindered their marker after the fact, but yeah, I killed the naiads, and then I did another 1 wound onto the other naiad, so no shooting for him. Bottom of 4. So yeah, that's just what he had beforehand. So on his turn, yeah, he charged into my knights. I think he's in desperation mode here. He lightning bolted the other hero, put him at 7 wounds, then killed him. His avatar of the Green Lady is again just flying in the center and just using her aura of death to try to put wounds where she can. Like I said, she's doing good. He's doing good, but he really is at a big disadvantage this game. So on my turn, I send all my units toward the center, and I combo charge the avatar of the Green Lady with the militia mob and the captain. At this point, I do get my Bane Chant off on the knights, and I do 17 wounds on them, killing them, and then I do 4 wounds onto the Green Lady. So with that, he's lost his last unit with unit strength, and so on the bottom of 5 here, he just looks at what he's got, and basically he concedes from there, which is without any unit strength, he admits that he can kill more of my units, but he's not going to be able to clear out. He'll probably can pick up the knights, but that's probably about it. So so end of game. It's concession at turn 5. I would say that dominate. He wants to practice dominate. I like his army. He does admit this isn't the most competitive army, but it's the army that he has best painted. I think I do like this army a lot. He's kind of like me. He's a guy who likes to play what he wants to play and not necessarily what's the ultra best. Dominate is his worst scenario, and dominate is my best scenario. Like dominate is easily my best scenario for this army. It's so good at dominate. So it's unsurprising that I did win. Instant learning points. I know for me, you may be seeing Retribution show up on some of my. I really want to try and fit that into my list. I've really got my list pretty tight, but I do want to try Retribution on those nights. He really has inspired me to try that out, and I just think it's awesome. Yeah, Dominate is just really dependent on unit strength, and I think his 12 unit strength for his army is so low that he does need to practice on Dominate because it is a very tough scenario for him. We talked after the game that maybe he'd want to like stay back further and shoot a few turns, but honestly, I'm not even sure if that would help because I just have so much just beef in the army that it's going to be difficult. So we didn't come up really a clear winner. Like I said, I couldn't really figure out what we could do. I felt I just had such a natural advantage in this scenario. All right, well, thanks everyone. You can always play against me on Universal Battles 2. Provide feedback, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're in Austin, we always have the Austin Alternative Gaming Freaks that we play all sorts of games, Kings of War being one of them. So thanks a lot, everybody.